Welcome to Financial Insanity, the podcast that explores potential pitfalls facing old world financial concepts and introduces updated options designed to help investors thrive in the new economy. Join host Jason Vino with each episode as he discusses new ways for new days to enhance your finance and finally stop the insanity.
Hard to get where you are. You saved, invested, planned, and prepared. But what if everything you were told up to this point no longer applies? What if there was a better way? There have been many changes in almost every area of our lives, including the stock market. Traditional investing methods were introduced over 40 years ago, before you could trade online, before retirement plans brought millions of new investors into the markets, before interest rates hit all-time lows, and before the threat of terrorism became a daily fear. But most investors continue doing the same thing they always have, while hoping things somehow might turn out differently during the next market crash. As Albert Einstein said, this is the true definition of insanity.
Let me ask you a question. What would you consider to be the most important factor needed to create continued success in life, investing, and business over time? Welcome to the premiere episode of Financial Insanity. I am your host, Jason Vino. The answer to this question is the key to everything I believe in and the cornerstone of this program. My hope is that the information we introduce will inspire you to question the status quo and widely held beliefs that have long existed within the financial industry. You see, I believe that traditional financial concepts may no longer be relevant, that the financial industry would prefer you doing what you have always done, even if there might be a better way. I believe that there is a critical paradigm shift taking place right now, which could have a major effect on your financial future, and it is just not being discussed. We are going to uncover the why behind these beliefs in this first kickoff episode of Financial Insanity, and give you the answer to that all-important question. But for now, let us rewind and start at the beginning. It was about 2 years ago when something occurred that led to this show that you're listening to right now. It was on one of our annual family beach trips. We had finally arrived at our destination, checked into the hotel, and we're starting to settle into our room. Now, I've noticed everybody has their own ritual when they go on a trip and they start to settle in. My ritual, I like to find the TV remote and then proceed to check every single channel so I can familiarize myself, maybe lay on the couch, kick off my shoes, and relax for 5, 10, 15, or 20 minutes. My wife, Ann, on the other hand, she is one that gets on a task immediately, which is a great thing. So we're in the room, and she has all the suitcases out, and she's putting away the clothes, and she's getting all the bathrooms set up. Our daughter, Haley, is walking around the room and outside, and she has a phone that is permanently attached to her hand. She's on FaceTime with 300 or 400 friends, showing them her room, the ocean off the balcony, doing her hair, doing what she does. Then our son, who is usually, by this time, bouncing off the walls and tearing things up, is unusually quiet. I see him laying on the bed, and he has my wife's phone, and he's pushing some buttons. He looks at me and he says, "Dad, do you know the Wi-Fi password so I can watch some YouTube videos?" Now, he's 4 years old. 4 years old, and he's asking me what the Wi-Fi password is so that he can get online and watch some YouTube videos. That's when I realized how much our world has changed from what it used to be. Specifically, not only how much our world has changed, but how much we have changed with it. Think back to when you were young. What were you doing? What were you playing with? What was going on in the world at that time? I remember what I was doing. I was big in these big plastic army soldiers. I would buy them in bags, and I would open them up and then dump them on the kitchen floor. And we'd be playing, and I'd be right in the middle of World War III when my mother would come in, and she'd tell me I had to pick up and get ready for dinner. But nowadays, kids have a cell phone when they're in elementary school. They have a computer by the age of 6, and the internet is just a normal part of their life. They know no different. The reality is that things are much different than what they used to be. In fact, technology has impacted every single aspect of our daily lives. The way we shop, the way we work, communicate, socialize, and live has completely changed. We get friendly on Facebook, we link up on LinkedIn, we post pictures on Pinterest, and we use words like Skype and tweet and Google and Uber. What used to be no longer is. Think about it. What comes to your mind when I say the word Amazon? Is it the largest river in the world that you learned about when you were in school? Or is it now something else? What about Apple? An apple a day keeps the doctor away. But are you really picturing the fruit when I say that? Or do your thoughts immediately go to that trillion-dollar tech company that has a product in almost every single home in America? You know, out of curiosity, I Googled the word Apple. Can you guess how many pages I had to go through before finally finding a link that actually related to the fruit? 9 pages. So here's the point. As our world has changed, things as we used to know them have changed as well. Meaning, at some point, the old gives way to the new. And you have to realize that you can no longer just rely on what used to be, but instead, you need to truly understand now what is. So you're sitting there right now and you're saying, okay, Jason, everything is different. I got it. But where are you going with all this? So let me tell you, everything I've talked about up to this point has just been to lay the groundwork to help you understand the most critical factor and the foundation to everything I talk about here on Financial Insanity. So this is important. Remember this. What we do has not changed that much, but how we do it has changed immensely. Did you catch that? What we do has not changed that much, but how we do it has completely changed. If you don't remember anything else I talk about today, just please remember this one critical fact. What we do has not changed as much as how we do it. Because within this one statement lies the key to everything that can help you enhance your financial future if you can truly believe it, see it, and understand it. The great Albert Einstein said, doing the same thing over and over while expecting different results is the true definition of insanity. And this is what I see with investors all the time. They continue doing things the way they have always done them, but for some reason, they expect the results are going to be different during the next market crash. It's very simple. If you want to change your outcome, you have to change your approach. So this whole program, the focus is, how can we help you stop that insanity? Well, the answer is very simple. You can continue doing the same things over and over, but you start doing these things in a new way. And this will then lead to a different result. What you do doesn't change, but how you do it needs to change because the old has given way to the new. I remember when I was younger, I would ride with my parents to the local drugstore and go in with them, and we'd drop off our rolls of film that we've been taking with our cameras. And we'd drop them off and come back in a few days, and we'd be able to pick up our printed pictures. Of course, we'd have to specify, do you want glossy or do you want flat? What size do you want? That's how it used to be. And then somewhere along the line, suddenly nobody prints pictures anymore. You want to see a picture? Sure. On my phone, I have 500 to 1,000 pictures. I've seen that before. And somebody wants to show you a picture, and you're standing there for 2 and 3 minutes so they can just find it to show it to you. Doesn't seem that long ago that I would pull into a parking lot at a place called Blockbuster, and I'd walk in and go through all the different aisles and try to find out what movie I wanted to select. Then I'd go up to the front and I'd rent a movie for a day or two and go home and put it in my VCR. Then somewhere along the line, things changed. Now you don't even have to leave your couch. You push 2 buttons and bam, you got a movie instantly. You remember the guy that used to go around and knock on your door? Great big smile, had probably a suit and a tie on. He would introduce himself and he would tell you how he is selling encyclopedias. When I was younger, my father invited this guy in and he literally came over about a 3-night period. He got to be such good friends with my family. I think he even had dinner with us one night. And we would go through all the different encyclopedias and see all the different subjects. And then the big moment came and we bought a $700 set of Encyclopedia Britannica that still sits on the shelf to this day collecting dust. Why? Somewhere along the way, something changed. Now we have this thing called Google, where you can search anything at any time in an instant. The interesting thing is I come across people all the time and they say, I don't like change. I like the way things are and I really don't have much change in my life. But guess what? They have a cell phone. They're on social media. They're going online and doing their shopping. They're doing things differently and they're making changes, but they don't even realize it. They're simply just keeping up with what's going on around them. There's 2 types of change that you go through. Number one is an unconscious change. You don't even realize it's going on. But then you wake up one day and suddenly you're doing everything different and you don't even realize it's happened to you. The second type of change is more of a conscious. You have to make a decision. It's presented to you and then your brain gets in the way and it starts putting all these things of self-doubt in you. What about the unknown? And what if you forget to ask that one question? And so that is what truly people are talking about when they say they don't like change. They don't like to be presented with something where they have to make a decision that is different than what they are used to because it scares them. You cannot have progress without change. We live in a world we are constantly upgrading. Oh, the iPhone 8 came out. When's the iPhone 9? What about the iPhone 10? Oh, I got that a month ago. I'm waiting for the iPhone 11. Hey, I love my car, but I had to get this new one because it's got Bluetooth. We update our homes, we update our wardrobe, we update our TVs, our computers, and the list goes on. And why are we constantly updating? So that we can keep up with advancements and improvements and enhance what we're already doing in a new and better way. It has never been more evident that we're living in a new reality. And yet, knowing all of this, it's amazing to me that the number one area that has the biggest potential impact on your financial future, which is your investment plan, the majority of everyday investors have not updated or changed their approach ever. They've been doing what they have always done since they started. In fact, the majority of the financial industry continues to promote traditional methods that were first introduced over 60 years ago, before computers, before the internet, before 401ks, before terrorism, before all these new factors that now impact the markets even existed. If you want different results, you have to change your approach. This is what financial insanity is all about. First, to help you truly realize that our world has changed. Second, to help you understand that just doing what you've always done may no longer offer the advantages that it once did. And number 3, to become aware of updated information and options that are designed to help you prosper in the new economy. So hopefully by now we can all agree that our world has changed, that things around us have changed, and that what we do has not changed as much as how we do it. Now, in the very beginning of this episode, I asked you a question. What would you consider to be the most important factor required to create continued success in life, investing, and business over time? The answer can be found in a popular quote that has been around for ages and states, "It is not the strongest that survives, nor the most intelligent, but the one most adaptable to change." As our world changes, we have to change with it. The problem is, as we get older, we begin to create an unwillingness to challenge beliefs that we have held on to for so long, which puts us at a disadvantage. Sometimes the path that we have taken up to this point may not still be the appropriate path for us to continue into the future. And sometimes it's important for us to take a pause and reflect and take inventory to discover if what we have been doing for so long is still the most appropriate approach to maximize our future potential success going forward. And let me give you an example to how I feel is the best way to accomplish this. Detective Joe Friday from the 1950s show Dragnet was famous for interrogating witnesses as he used his one-liner, "Just the facts, ma'am." That's the same way that we're going to investigate the changes that have occurred over time in the financial world. We're going to explore the facts. In the next episode, we're going to start back at the beginning. We're going to take a look at how these traditional investment concepts first began. How did they originate? What are they based on? What do we know now that we did not know then? And then what events have occurred since then? And what has the impact been on our world, on our markets, and our economy? We will then begin to uncover new strategies, new methods, an updated approach that many are using in the new economy. This show is for you. This show is to provide you the education and information that you need so that you can help make an informed decision on whether you should, one, continue doing what you've always done, or two, potentially be open to something new. I'll leave you with a quote that I saw recently that said it best. "Small changes today bring huge results tomorrow." See you at the next show.
Want more financial insanity? Need to contact us or ask a question? Great. First, subscribe and review us on iTunes. Then head over to financialinsanity.com to join our community, download additional episodes, and access articles. Thanks for listening to this episode, and be sure to join us next time as we teach more ways to enhance your finance and stop the insanity.
Advisory services offered through Enhance Wealth, a member of Advisory Services Network, LLC.